Steven Crowder uncovers some shocking information regarding voter irregularities in Michigan. The media are still playing the Donald Trump is a racist card. And violence against police grows as a K-9 officer is shot at an intersection in Tennessee. Before we get started with the news, if you're watching this video, I want to ask you please go hit that subscribe button on my homepage, like this video, and share it with your friends. I don't have a marketing team or a big fancy studio, so all my video traffic comes through you, my viewers. So what are you waiting for? It only takes 2 seconds to minimize this video. Go to my homepage and subscribe. If you like my content, you like what you see, if you want to see more of it, and if you want to be part of helping my channel grow and helping combat the fake news narratives floating around the social media sphere, go subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and share this video with your friends. And if everyone who watches this video shared it one time, I would be the biggest YouTube channel by the end of the year. Alright, let's hop on over, shall we, to the Twitter sphere. Let's talk about voter fraud for a minute. I know I've talked a little bit about it in the past, but I want to do a pretty in-depth breakdown of what's actually happening. I say in-depth, fairly in-depth, kind of just overview of what we're being told versus what's actually happening. So if this is all you see right here, voter fraud of any kind is exceedingly rare in the U.S., election experts confirm. If that's all you see, then of course you're going to think, oh, the Republicans are just crazy. Oh, the right-wing conspiracy theories. Oh, no one actually thinks there's actual voter fraud. So if this is all you see, then of course that's what you're going to think. But this isn't actually the case. Experts and officials said there has been no evidence of widespread voter fraud in the 2020 U.S. elections. The election process was secure, and voter fraud of any type is incredibly rare, according to the Associated Press and Reuters. Officials and experts warned ahead of Election Day that most interference in U.S. elections, whether from foreign or domestic players, comes in the form of misinformation campaigns, many of which are intended to create distrust in the U.S.'s electoral process. Okay, so this is a narrative. It's a narrative designed to shed some doubt on the Republican campaign, because the Republicans are the ones disproportionately saying there's voter fraud, and there's quite a bit of evidence for it. We'll get to there shortly. But this is a thoughtfully crafted message to send out to the U.S., to voters everywhere, to the United States population, to say, no. Voter fraud doesn't exist. You only think it exists. What are you going to believe? Your own lying eyes? Or us, your trusted media? We just give you the facts, and the facts say there's no such thing as voter fraud. I'm sorry, no, this isn't true. There is no evidence of widespread voter fraud in Michigan, according to fact checkers and state officials. So not only is there no widespread voter fraud across the nation, there's no widespread fraud in Michigan. President Trump's recent claims of widespread voter fraud in Detroit and the greater Wayne County, Michigan region in the 2020 elections are unsubstantiated, according to fact checkers and local journalists. On November 17th, Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson said that discrepancies in vote tallies across the state are most commonly attributed to clerical error. So the idea here is it's not fraud, it's just accidents, and it will all be fixed in audits, recounts. Theoretically, we don't know. We don't know what's actually happening because they won't tell us what's happening. All they're telling us is there's no such thing as widespread voter fraud. And so when you see messages like this floating across Twitter and all across Facebook, then you're going to start to think, maybe the widespread voter fraud theory isn't actually real. And so when we see stories like this from Political Hedge, Joe Biden won 3 of every 4 mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania, and Trump won 2 of 3 votes cast in person, what does that mean for the future? You see, things like this make sense, and you start to actually buy into the results of the election. Completely disregarding the facts that Donald Trump has every legal right to challenge the election. He does. You may not like it, That doesn't mean what he's doing is illegal or unconstitutional. No. The only thing that's unconstitutional about what's happening right now with the election is everyone saying that Donald Trump needs to concede right now. No, that's not constitutionally mandated. That's media mandated. And the media is not how our country runs and operates. Our country runs and operates on the Constitution. We have it for a reason. Donald Trump doesn't have to concede anything until December 14th if he loses. Until then, anything's fair game. He can challenge whatever election process he likes. And if he wins through legal avenues, that is a legitimate victory. You may not like it. You may not like what's happening, but it is legal and it is legit. And I would be saying the same thing if it were flipped. If it were flipped and Donald Trump was up by 5 million votes and he won all of these states that Joe Biden won, and Joe Biden was trying to seek legal avenues to win, I would be saying the same thing. He would have every legal right to do so. So, quit your complaining. Quit your whining. Quit telling Trump to concede because he hasn't lost yet. The Electoral College has not certified its votes. They have not voted yet. And if Donald Trump wins the election, it will be through these legal avenues, and he will have won legitimately. And so, which brings us to our next topic. There's no evidence of widespread voter fraud, or so we're told. There's no evidence of widespread voter fraud in Michigan or Wisconsin or any of these states. So then how come we get stories like this from a comedian, Steven Crowder? Michigan impossible 173,000 anonymous votes. All of which from Wayne County. One county dumped 173,000 votes from 0 registered voters. Are you meaning to tell me that 173,000 Biden voters in Michigan registered on Election Day and voted for him 97%? Yes, you heard that right. 97% of these 173,000 votes went to Joe Biden. 97%. Let's look at what that is real quick. 173 times 0.97. That's 167.8 thousand votes. 167,810 votes. That's more than the 150,000 100% Joe Biden voter drop that we saw in the middle of the night. 3%. That doesn't happen anywhere. That doesn't happen anywhere in nature. That doesn't even happen in our political sphere. 11% of Republicans, this is back from August, okay, so take that with a grain of salt. 11% of Republicans say they'll vote for Biden, while 8% of Democrats will vote Trump. So based on party affiliation, it rounds out to be about the same number. About the same number of people are switching parties to vote for Trump as the same are switching parties to vote for Biden. So how does it make sense that only 3% of these votes went to Donald Trump and 97% of these votes went to Joe Biden? It doesn't. So quit saying that there's no widespread voter fraud when obviously there are signs of widespread voter fraud. There is evidence. Now, take this with a grain of salt. This might be completely circumstantial evidence. Okay? It might just be circumstantial. But it is evidence nonetheless, so quit saying that there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud when clearly there is. You would have to have 100% of voter turnout, absentee voter turnout in Wayne County to see this win. And how much... Joe Biden did not win Michigan by very many votes. In fact, if these 173,000 votes are really split the way they're supposed to split, about 50-50-ish, because absentee ballots splitting about 50-50, it's enough to flip the state for Trump. It's enough to flip the state for Trump. And I think the Democrats know this, which is why they're freaking out. Michigan Attorney General says Trump's recount demands insinuate black people are incompetent. Oh, here we go. Back to old reliable Donald Trump's a racist. Yikes. Can we stop this? Please. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel blasted President Trump's election lawsuits on Wednesday, saying there is no evidence to support his allegations of misconduct. Bull crap! We just saw 173,000 votes from 0 registered voters, and 97% of them were for Joe Biden. You should have alarm bells going off right now. As I said yesterday, and Tim Pool said a couple days ago, if you're walking by a building and the fire alarm is going off, you call 911 and you say, hey, there's a fire alarm going off in this building. And if they say, but is there any widespread evidence of fire? Can you see the fire coming out of the windows? And you say no, and then they hang up and they say, oh, there's no fire there. No, that doesn't make sense. If you hear the alarms, you investigate. There are alarm bells going off, so we need to investigate. Otherwise, half the country's not going to accept the outcome of this election. And then we can't have confidence in our democratic processes anymore. And our nation will fracture and fall apart even more than it already has. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that our nation is more fractured than at any other point in history, because that's not true. We fought a civil war. Brothers killed each other over the right to own slaves. And that's some other things. But our nation is not as split as it has ever been. It's not even close. This isn't the end of our nation. This isn't the end of democracy. Right now, what we are witnessing is the democratic process. All we have to do is figure out, was that democratic process meddled with? That is the question that we need answered. And so anyone that says, no, there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud. No, we don't need to investigate. I'm sorry, that's not how democracy works. Just because you like the outcome doesn't mean you don't question it. Question and verify. And I do think it's a little ironic that all the same people that are saying this is damaging to our democracy are the same ones that spent the last 4 years pushing a crap Russiagate allegation, dragged Brett Kavanaugh through the mud with unsubstantiated claims of gang rape. And they tried to end the filibuster, and they're trying to destroy and get rid of the Electoral College because it's racist. No. You don't get to claim that democracy is evil. And then when you get an outcome you like, claim that anything questioning our democracy is destructive towards it. That's not how this works. Your intellectual infancy is disgusting, and you need to study more. Learn to use Google. Learn to code. I don't care. If you are like Brian Stelter, and you say, end the filibuster, end the Electoral College, and then you turn around and say, Donald Trump is a danger to our democracy, you need to quit your day job. You don't deserve to be in media because you are a partisan hack. And you have no place in the intellectual conversation realm. If you are someone like Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel, whatever her name is, I don't care. She's crazy. You don't deserve to sit in an elected official position. Nessel claims that the administration's lawsuit unfairly target Detroit, a city that has a majority black population and historically high number of Democratic voters, according to Detroit Free Press. She further asserts that the campaign is overlooking other majority white population centers in the state where President-elect Joe Biden received a higher percentage of the vote than Hillary Clinton in 2016. Well, yeah, because in those counties, they didn't have 173,000 votes from zero registered voters. Kind of suspicious. This isn't about skin color. This is about voter irregularities. And if those voter irregularities were in other counties, you can best bet Donald Trump would also be investigating those counties. The reason he's not is because there's no there. It's a big nothing burger. So get over this. Donald Trump's a racist. Get off your high horse. Look at the facts on the ground. If all you care about is skin color, I've said it once, I'll say it again. If all you care about is skin color, you're the racist. Okay? I don't care what your skin color is. Black, brown, yellow, white, red, purple with pink polka dots. If you're committing voter fraud, you go to prison. This is insane. Other things insane that the Democrats are pushing, besides there's no such thing as voter fraud, simultaneously to there's widespread voter suppression. Doesn't make any sense. What else doesn't make sense is if you're going to tell an entire nation that police are racist and they're out to kill black people, then what are you expecting if not stories like this? If you go out and tell people this people group is trying to kill you, then you're going to get result of this people group, this quote, victimhood, is going to go out and defend themselves. And so they're going to kill the cops. This is a direct result of what the media has been telling us and feeding us for the past several years. Really the past decade since Obama took office. The first time. If you tell people that cops are racist and they're out to kill you, don't be shocked when people, everyday people, come out and start defending themselves. Because if they truly believe these cops are evil, well then the logical conclusion is, I need to kill them before they can kill me. Big brain play here. The media is instigating civil unrest. Don't let them. Canine officer shot and killed after gunman opens fire into patrol car. A canine officer has been shot and killed after a suspect opened fire on a patrol vehicle with the dog and his human partner inside, according to local authorities. Okay, so first of all, if you were aiming for the dog, you're a piece of crap. Even more so than just firing into a normal police car. Because if you buy this whole police are racist, they're out to kill black people, okay, then shooting the cop makes sense. But you're going to shoot a dog that didn't do anything? If you shoot into a police car, you're a piece of garbage. If you shoot into the police car aiming to hit the dog, I'm sorry, no, electric chair for you. The incident occurred on November 17th as Officer Justin Darby and his Belgian Malinois canine officer named Jacques, pronounced Jacques, whatever, Jacques, were driving on Murfreesboro Road in Laverne, Tennessee, when a gunman pulled up alongside them and opened fire into the patrol car before speeding off. The officer pursued the driver and other officers joined the pursuit, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said in a press release regarding the incident. Information from the scene indicates the driver exited his vehicle and fired at officers, with officers returning fire. The subject got back into his vehicle and drove further into the parking lot, striking a parked vehicle before coming to rest. The officers then approached the vehicle and discovered that the suspect had sustained a gunshot wound during the shootout. The man involved in the incident was immediately transported to a local area hospital where he was declared deceased from his injury. Officer Darby was not injured in the shooting, but it was only in the aftermath of the police chase and the subsequent shootout that the officer discovered that his canine partner, Jacques, had been struck 3 times by the assailant's bullets. "We're all praying for Jacques and Officer Darby," said Interim Chief Chip Davis in a statement following the attack. "A canine is more than just a dog to our handlers. They're a partner." Jacques was immediately taken to a veterinary hospital where he underwent emergency surgery on November 18th to treat the wounds he suffered in the shootout, but sadly did not survive the operation. Said the La Verge Police Department in a press release. "It was with a heavy heart that the La Vergne Police Department announces canine Jacques has passed away." Okay, like I said earlier, if you're going to tell the American people all cops are racist, all cops are, I'm not going to say the word ACAB, I'm not going to say it, I want to stay family friendly. If you're going to say things like this, then it makes sense that people start hunting down police officers. And if people are hunting down police officers, then it makes sense that you see mass exoduses from police forces. And it makes sense that these are happening in almost exclusively liberal cities, where the message of all cops are racists is most common. So if you want to see a tamping down of violence, cut down the rhetoric. Okay? I have a very fine line. Speech is not violence. It's not. And so what I'm saying here is not that the media has said something to the effect of "go kill cops." So what I'm saying is when the rhetoric heats up, the violence will ramp up. Don't be shocked if you see more stories like this over the next coming weeks because of Joe Biden's presumed election. Don't be shocked, because he's the one touting this message. It's his party saying all cops are racists. It's his party saying Republicans are going to put you all back in chains. He said that against Mitt Romney in 2012 for his re-election campaign. Don't be shocked if when Joe Biden is elected, the violence from the left gets more intense, not less intense. The right isn't going to riot. You might have a few isolated incidents here and there, but we're not going to see this sort of widespread violence and burning down of American cities that we've seen all across the nation over the past 10 months. It's not going to happen, because the right knows the moment someone does that, it's going to be the main headline for weeks on end. I said it yesterday. We know this will happen because it did happen at the Unite the Right rally. Say what you want about those people. Disgusting people. Bunch of racists and a few Klansmen and a bunch of alt-right members. Disgusting. Really disgusting people. I want nothing to do with them. I do not want to be associated with those people carrying tiki torches. But they weren't being violent. Not until Antifa showed up and instigated. That's what happens. The right has protests, and then Antifa shows up, instigates violence, and boom, we have this media-made story. The right's violent. Meanwhile, they're completely ignoring Antifa and Black Lives Matter, where the Proud Boys don't even show up, and violence breaks out anyway. No justice, no peace. I think it was Martin Luther King that said the riot is the voice of the unheard. And lots of people are using that language now. I'm sorry, Mr. King. I have to disagree with you. A riot is not a voice of the unheard. A riot is a temper tantrum because you don't like what's happening. Sure, the things that you don't like that are happening might be completely justified that you don't like it. That doesn't mean you throw a fit. You don't act like children and destroy other people's properties. You don't knock down the block towers of other kids because you don't like what's happening. That makes you a bully. I've had my fair share of bullies. I was thrown in trash cans and thrown into lockers in junior high. Some of the people watching this video did those things to me. Doesn't matter. We've grown past it because that's what adults do. Try not to burn down the country overnight. I will be back tomorrow with another segment. And like I said at the beginning of the video, please hit that subscribe button, share this video with your friends, and I will see you all tomorrow.